We're here today to talk to Kathryn about some of the things that she's been doing from a missional point of view in Harrogate. And the reason we're doing that is because Janet and I have the great privilege of hearing lots of stories of where God's been at work, particularly during lockdown, and hearing the amazing things that people are doing. And we just want to be able to share those stories with other people. So, Kathryn, do you want to start by introducing yourself?
Yes, morning. I'm Kathryn Watson. I'm married to Chris. We have 2 adult children. We've lived in Harrogate since 1992. Can't work out how long that is at the moment. I work part-time for a local charity called Carers Resource that supports unpaid carers, which we're very busy at the moment with that. And I've been part of Kairos Church for 10 years, virtually since it was its inception.
So Kathryn, tell us about what you've been doing from a missional point of view across our town.
So I'm part of a community at Kairos called Kairos Fairfax Community. We've had a vision from God to support and work with people on the Fairfax estate for a long time. We and 2 other couples realised that our houses formed a triangle around that estate, and we felt God was pointing us to go there and see what we could do. So a number of years ago, we started building relationships with the team at the community centre, and from that we were able to establish a once-a-month event called Lazy Sunday. This was where we just invited people to come and have bacon and sausage sandwiches and a drink, read a newspaper, have a chat, and just to make friendships and build relationships, and just have a safe space for people to come and be. And that started quite a number of years ago now, and from that we've built some really good friendships and relationships with the people on the estate, and that's led to us being able to go out over lockdown and knock on people's doors when we were allowed to have conversations. We've sent them letters and texts and just kept in touch and built that relationship and that friendship ongoing throughout lockdown. It's just been really easy and natural to be able to do that.
That all sounds really great, Kathryn, and I know you were doing some really interesting things in the lead up to Christmas. Can you tell us about that as well?
Yes, certainly. We became aware of the organisation called Resurrected Bites, who recycle food, waste food. They make sure that it goes to people who need it so it doesn't go into bins. And we knew that they would have clients on the Fairfax estate, and we wanted to help serve those people and just to give them a bit of a Christmas blessing. So we asked if we could put hampers together for them for Christmas, which Resurrected Bites were pleased to accept that help. And we also invited the people that we link with on the Fairfax estate, the people who come to Lazy Sunday in the past. We asked if they'd like to get involved as well. And we were really thrilled that they did want to get involved, that they were really generous as well with their gifts, and were happy to serve and bless other people on their estate. And it was a real good time of serving and working together. And that whole idea of we're in this together, we're not there to put things right for them, we're just there to bless and work together in what we did. So that was a really exciting time.
Kathryn, everything that you've told us sounds really interesting. Can you tell us about any situations where you really saw God at work, or perhaps you saw people's a real change in people's lives as a result of a lot of the things that you were doing?
I think we've been involved on the Fairfax estate for quite a number of years now, and I think the biggest change is the way people see us, the way people relate to us. I think now they do see us as friends. We've had really good contact over lockdown, just keeping the messages going. And when I think back to when we started, people came along to the Lazy Sunday, but they weren't open for conversation. There was real barriers there, that probably suspicion, to be honest. But I think it's just been giving it time to build relationship and friendship. And that's an ongoing thing. And that's really important, that relationship's the key to everything.
Yeah. And can you tell us also about kind of that foundation of prayer that you have? And I think you gather in a triplet, don't you, as well as a group, and how that strengthens you?
Definitely. From the very beginning of working on Fairfax, we've done prayer walking. That's really brought us closer to God and given us an insight into God's heart for that place. As a missional community, we pray regularly for ourselves and for the people on the estate. And again, as the relationships develop and you get to know people better, you can pray in a more specific way for them, which is really good. And in some of the messages we've put out over lockdown, we always say, let us know if there's anything you want prayer for. So we're opening the way for people to see prayer as important and that it can change lives. I'm also involved in a prayer triplet, which started during lockdown, which has just been a real blessing. One of the people I knew very well, the other person I didn't know at all before we started. And I think we've developed a real trust and openness, and it's just a really good time to share, to pray, to know God's with us. We've got a little WhatsApp group as well, so even in between the times of prayer, we can send messages, and there's just a real strength of knowing that you're supported in prayer at all times when you need it. And that's been one of the biggest blessings of lockdown for me.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds great, Kathryn. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing all your stories. It's so wonderful to hear what's happening in our town.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, and it's good to acknowledge all that God's doing in different ways.